Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lake to Lake Girls.
Hey, everyone.
We are your hosts, Amanda and Tiffany. And it is just us in the studio again, back home.
Yeah.
We actually have a guest coming in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, Melissa will make a return, right?
Oh, yeah. I forgot to email her back. So
No big deal.
hopefully soon.
No big deal.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
We do have, well, we do kind of have a guest tonight.
Annie!
Yeah.
Come here, Annie. Want to say hi? Say
No,
hello.
she got camera shy.
Come here, Annie. What are you doing? Hello. Okay. And there she is. Hello, gorgeous. Say hello. I'm terrible with this camera right now.
She never likes to look at a camera. I don't know what it is. It's so annoying.
She knows it's a camera. It's
it's
a spider for all you know.
I'll try to take pictures at home with like my big camera, and she just like won't cooperate. Like,
Not at
come
all.
on. It's difficult.
Silly
She's like,
girl.
no pictures, please. No pictures.
I'm fabulous. I can't have any pictures, please. Yeah, so this weather is driving me bananas. Like it's the change in from the warm.
Yeah, I know.
The warm to the now bitter cold, and I'm dying. I'm dying, absolutely dying. And did you hear about next week being the first week of March is supposed to be absolutely terrible?
Oh, I did not hear that.
Oh my
Oh
Lord.
No.
Let me tell
That's
you
not
what
good.
is supposed to be bad.
Like storms?
Snow, cold, everything. It's supposed to, we're supposed to get hit pretty good. So I'm not looking forward to that. That doesn't sound super fun to me.
Checking the weather right now.
Just to see what it says.
As long as on March 8th, it's not too horrible, so I can leave for my trip.
You're so close.
I know.
And how's it coming?
Excited. Good. Actually, most of the planning's
Already done? That's good.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting to pack and go. I don't think I've actually said yet on the show where I'm going.
No?
I don't think so. I don't know. Well, I'm going to Paris, March 8th through the 15th. Technically the 9th, because that's when we get there, but I'm so excited.
What's the plane ride?
It's a red eye. Well, we're flying out of Elmira.
You're flying a red eye to Paris? Cool.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't sleep well on planes, so I'm gonna have to drug myself, which is fine by me. But do what you gotta do.
Agreed.
Yeah, so we fly out of Elmira to Detroit, then Detroit to Paris on the way there. So it's like the red eye is like 7 hours, which whatever. If you're gonna sleep most of it, I guess it's not that bad.
7 hours isn't that bad.
No.
How are they doing it so quickly? Is it because there's no stop?
Yeah, no, it's like, from Detroit, it's a direct flight.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I have to say, because when we were looking at tickets and prices, I, researched like a crazy person.
I wouldn't expect anything else.
Logarithms to this entire process. Not really, but I found actually flying out of Elmira for the Finger Lakes region was the cheapest. And I searched everywhere.
I've heard that.
Yeah, and I've never flown out of there before.
Me either, but I've heard that they do have the best prices that you're gonna find.
Yeah, it was like I'm talking like at least $200 less than like Syracuse or Rochester. Yeah,
that's a significant amount.
Was impressive. So I'll take it.
Yeah,
and it's pretty close.
$200 is $200 extra in your pocket that you can spend while you're in Paris.
Exactly.
So
I am praying for some good flight weather. Yeah, hopefully it will all work out.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't suck too bad.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking at the weather. I mean, it doesn't go as far as...
Because it's too hard to predict that far ahead.
Yeah.
Speaking of living well, we have... I don't know if you saw it yet, but in the Huffington Post, there's an article about us. What upstate New York can teach the rest of the country about living well. This is on upstate.
I have not seen it. I'm intrigued. What do they have to say?
Yes. It's a campaign
Mm-hmm.
that just says to come up here to the upstate New York country living.
Mm-hmm.
We're going coast to coast, country to country to find out what people think. And they think that the upstate New Yorkers know how to live. Apparently, we're early adopters.
Really?
Yeah, and it says right here, progressive legislation in New York State goes way back. 1984, New York became the first state to pass a mandatory seatbelt law, causing motor vehicle deaths to drop 27% during the first few months that followed, according to the New York Times. New York was also the first to outlaw handheld cell phones while driving in 2001, and now we're probably going to be the first state that, educates our ex-cons for free.
For free. That's the
Free.
That's the key word right there. Really, they said we're early adopters.
Mhm.
That's an actual oh my god, I'm totally gonna blank on it. But there's different types of segments, in terms of marketing, and they have different names. I have to disagree with that.
Fair enough.
If you put certain zip codes around this area, I mean, it's a real thing. You can look it up. We are not
Early adopters.
Early adopters.
Yes. I would have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
In certain areas, yes.
Yeah.
Outdoor exercise is a way of life. I don't think that you can disagree with that.
No, for a lot of people, and I think it depends on what. I feel like the Finger Lakes is a bit polarized because you have the really young, active people,
5K obsessed.
Yeah, well, and just people who are highly educated or well educated, entrepreneurs, different things like that, and then you have another side to it.
The polar opposite.
The polar opposite, where it's it's not. It's the
not.
exact opposite of everything I just said, and I don't know. I don't think we're that progressive, to be honest.
Slow
certain
motion.
areas.
It can be true in terms of certain respects, I guess.
Well, it really depends on the area. Look at Ithaca, for example.
They're progressive.
Super progressive.
Yeah.
In different areas. Look at, I don't want to name names, other areas. Totally not the case. Totally different. I
don't know that Seneca County is super progressive, but I kind of think that's the charm of it, is that it's you slow down, relax, the wine trails, you're not going super fast. You're meant to sit back, relax, and enjoy the slower pace.
Yeah, there's that aspect of it, and
which I enjoy.
To be honest, though, I don't think Seneca County puts an emphasis on fitness or anything like that, though. No, because you look at other places, cities, I go back to Ithaca. It's the first example that comes into mind, but Rochester is good about this too, and other places. They have running paths and I know Ithaca, right on the water. I don't know the name of the park off the top of my head. They have actually exercise stations, different things, plaques, and you're oh, do this to There's none of that around here. It's not a priority, and actually, I heard on the radio that obesity is
at an all-time high.
At an all-time high. It's a huge concern for Seneca County. Sorry, Seneca County, to pick on you. But
we're from here.
Exactly.
We know.
We're allowed to talk about it this way. But,
the next one I do agree with, but they made up a word and it's weird.
What's that?
Locavorism.
Oh, eating,
keeping things local, keeping food
local.
I
would agree with that.
We're
I think
very
that's definitely
high on that and emphasize that.
A movement.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Because there's so many great farms and farmland around here,
and it has increased. It says that we have in the last decade, farm markets themselves grown 176%.
Wow. That's impressive.
230 markets in the year of 2000, and there's about 650 today. Yeah, we have the most markets per state in the country. We have the most.
Really?
Markets. Oh, my phone's ringing.
Interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, what was the word? Locavorism?
It's Wow, this is how bad this word is. Locaverism.
Okay, yeah. So local
Vegetables, fruits.
yeah, eating local.
Eating
basically.
local. Like using local ingredients in your restaurants, using local ingredients, like, or buying local wines, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know what? Whenever I go to a restaurant around here and I want to get a glass of wine for dinner or whatever, I always get a local wine. Always. You always ask. Yeah, I don't ever
I do the same thing.
Another,
Who's a pretty girl? Look at who's a pretty girl.
He's hanging out with me right now.
Next, they say we foster creativity and appreciate the arts around here, which I agree. Like, if you look at, look at the Finger Lakes One website, we emphasize photographs, local photographs.
Yeah.
People take local photographs and post them up there. I mean, people really enjoy the beauty of the area, and I think
the Finger Lakes is a very just naturally gorgeous area. And it's pretty diverse, I feel like, too. We have, the gorges and the waterfalls and, fields and hills and,
the hills
lakes.
are alive with the sound of music. Natural beauty benefits the community. Upstate New Yorkers may actually be friendlier and more generous than downstate city slickers.
That's a given.
Really?
That's definitely a given. People up here are, much slower pace, much
kinder,
friendlier. Yeah.
That doesn't go to say that everyone is friendly, but
yeah, but I think generally,
overall,
yeah, I would agree with that.
General safety is a top priority. Okay, if safety isn't a top priority anywhere else,
I know, right?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't really think that sets us apart.
Well, some states. I don't think necessarily, you don't have to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a motorcycle or something like that.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that's true. But that brings me back to what I wanted to touch on it a little bit today, because I am just angry about it.
Fired up?
I am literally fired up. And I got into a heated argument the other day about it with someone who thinks that it should happen. And it is, educating inmates in jail.
Well, now, when you say educating, you mean
college education.
You're talking about, the
giving inmates a college education
for free.
Yeah. Now, free is a loaded statement because it's not free. It's going to go on the taxpayers.
Someone's going to pay for it.
Yeah, someone does have to pay for it, just like we have to pay for them to be housed there.
Yeah.
We're going to have to pay for their education. And someone... And I'm going to point out both sides. Both sides. I'm okay with that because my argument is stronger, and I will tell you that.
I'm right,
now, the person I was arguing with, he says that in terms of, you plant a potato, get a potato. And I agree with that. And what he means by that is, and that's a slogan I heard from someone else.
Plant a potato, get a potato.
Like you plant a criminal, like you you raise a criminal, like someone to be.
You're a product of your environment. Oh,
exactly.
I totally know what you mean.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what do you got to do to reverse that psychology in the inmate's head? Okay, give them an education, give them something they can do to be productive members of society once they get out of jail. Okay. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Rehabilitation in jail is a part of it.
Crucial, yeah.
However, my argument is, and I'm sure you agree, and I'm sure so many other people who agree, who are up to their noses in debt.
Yeah.
And I'm not even one of the worst. You are far off.
I have way more student
debt than I do, and I'm already fired up about it. But I went through high school. Made all the right decisions, didn't get myself into trouble.
Yeah.
I went to the next step. I got a higher education. I got my bachelor's degree. From there, I got a job. I've been working since I was 13, 14 years old. Whatever the legal time is.
Yeah, I think it's 14.
So I was 14 when I started working. And I've been paying my way and paying my dues from then.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me, and now I'm up to my ears in debt.
Yeah. And you work full time.
And I work full time.
Yeah.
And I'm still struggling.
Yeah.
And so then we're going to take someone who made wrong choices, made a mistake. I mean, granted, people do make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. But you have to pay for your mistakes.
There are consequences to your actions. Yeah.
That's what jail's about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You pay for your mistakes. It's a consequence to your actions.
Because you stepped outside of this, societal bounds and norms. Because we need those norms to function, successfully as a society. We need those in place,
So then you tell me, okay, so you make a mistake and you get in big trouble. Mm-hmm. And now I want to feed you, clothe you, put a roof over your head. Mm-hmm. And granted, that takes about $20,000 a year per prisoner.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're already paying for that as a taxpayer.
Yeah.
To pay for you that way. And then you're going to add on top of it more taxes so that I can educate you. Mm-hmm. Even though you decided to make all the wrong choices.
Yeah. No, I totally get where you're going at. I think the message, and this was was it a law that was proposed by...
It's part of the budget, yeah. It's part of Cuomo.
Cuomo's plan or whatever. What this says to people like us, who, and other people who have gone to college, have those student loans, have, as you said, made good choices,
You're teaching them
in life. What you're saying is, it's like, whatever.
Like what you did is...
it's a bit of a slap in the face.
Right.
Because what that says to me is, oh, okay, well, I'll just, go to jail for something and I'll get a free education.
Yep, and I'll do something bad enough where I can stay and get all my years.
It's rewarding. The way I kind of see it's almost like...
Take a 5-year-old who goes and draws all over the wall, and you put them in timeout, but yet give them an ice cream.
Yeah.
Or a dog who pees on the floor inside. You rub their nose in it, but hey, here's a treat. You went potty.
It's reinforced. It's
positive
rewarding negative behavior is what it kind of is. And like we said before, don't misunderstand us. We're not against educating inmates.
No.
But if they want to go and get, they have the right to higher learning. Some people don't. Higher learning is a privilege, not necessarily a right. But what I mean by higher learning is like beyond high school.
Yes. Like whether it be a trade or college for a specific.
Everyone has, the opportunity. Everyone has the right to go to high school for free.
Yep.
Until they're. I think you have to go until you're 16.
17, I thought.
Was it?
Is it 17?
It's 16 or 17.
Yeah.
But anyways, you have the right to a free education until you graduate from high school. And then after that,
it's
in our
on
system, it's up to you and your family or whatever, circumstances you're born into to get a higher education. I think this is causing so much anger almost is because what opportunities do we get? What about the kids who are super talented, making all the right choices or going places? What kind of message does that... He just did that.
She's okay.
What kind of message does that send to them?
It's
that they don't have the opportunity for a free education.
And what about the people who can't afford higher education but are still trying to work their butts off to get to that point?
Yeah.
Okay, what about them? They can't, they can't afford college, and scholarships aren't really in their...
Yeah.
They still haven't gone to jail, but yet they want it, but they can't afford it. Because that's what it's turning into right now.
I mean, it's like I get the idea behind it. Like, I understand.
This was my thought.
It's flawed logic, I think.
This was my thought, and I truly believe that this could work. Okay. An inmate wants to get an education while he's in jail. Okay. Put them to work. Make them do something in the jail. That way they can start bringing in, because I think you make money for working the kitchen. You make very minimal amount of money.
Yeah.
But granted, you make money. Okay, so, and you do this affiliated with some kind of local community college, whatever it may be. Okay, and you pay your dues inside. And you, just like everybody else, get a student loan.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No. Not at all. Yeah. Get a student loan. And then say you graduate Okay, finish out your term in prison.
Mm-hmm.
If it's longer than the amount of time it takes you to graduate, you have 6 months to get a job, start paying it back yourself.
Yeah, and I think if you want to give inmates the opportunity for free education, offer everyone in the state the opportunity for
free education.
that
Exactly.
wants it. Don't make it one or the other.
Like, why can it be free for them but not for this one over here?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They're going to start making it so that you can't discriminate in the workplace against an ex-con. Either you're not gonna, how now you have to check off whether or not you've been arrested or if you've ever been convicted of a felony.
Yeah.
Well, soon enough, it's going to be, well, this person committed grand larceny, going to work in a bank, but I won't know that because they won't have to tell me.
Yeah.
That's not right either.
Yeah, you might want to know who you're
You want to know who you're hiring.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what it's leading towards. I mean, granted, you're giving them a higher education, yes, but who's still with, depending on what the offense was. I mean, it might be DWI. Some businesses still don't hire for that, but you're more likely to find a job than, say, someone who did commit grand larceny.
Yeah.
Who's going to hire them once they're released?
Yeah.
It's very difficult for someone who out of jail to get a job.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, I think.
Yeah, I think
gotta work for it. Prove yourself.
Yeah, I think there should be opportunities for inmates or, people who released from jail. They paid their time. They paid their dues.
Yeah.
To enter back into society. That is so difficult to reintegrate yourself into normal society. And I think there does need to be, some sort of, and there might be, but I don't know, who knows how effective they are, programs for that. But, and it's a good, you mentioned too how the taxpayers have to foot the bill for that.
We do.
I pay enough taxes living in New York State as it is.
And now you want to bump them up again.
And now you want me to pay for, some rapist to,
get a college education.
Get his bachelor's. Or we keep saying his, they're
his or
our
her.
female, inmates, but.
I also know, you also have people who went to jail for something and realized, well, this is a really negative thing, really messed up here. After they got out,
call,
changed the way they were because they weren't coddled by it. Okay, so you have this person went back to school, is going back to school still, and has a full-time job, has their own place to live, pays for their bills, pays their taxes. Okay, that's great. You're doing it. You made a mistake, but now you're making it better.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Well, what was the point of the person? Did you already mention it? Of the person who was in support of?
He thinks it's a good idea to educate prisoners because if you plant a potato, get a potato.
Okay, yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
But it works, but if you make them earn it for themselves, and I think that they could do that by making them pay for their own education.
Yeah,
just
I
like
agree.
we have to.
Yeah.
Like after college, we have 6 months.
Yeah.
Whether we get a job in our field or
not, yeah.
Guess what starts?
Sally's May knocking on your door, asking
like,
for their money. Yeah.
You owe $200, $400 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get deferments, but that still doesn't help. Like, we still have to worry about cost of living. We still have to worry about everyday things.
Yeah.
We have to worry about paying for our debts like that. I don't have credit debt. I have college debt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I know. Like I said, we're not against prisoners being educated, but if you're going to educate them for free, A, offer it for everyone in the state, or B, as you've mentioned, have them pay for it themselves, like the rest of us schmucks have to.
Exactly, because you're reinforcing negative behavior, and you reward those who put in the work and do what is expected.
Yeah.
Whether it be graduate from high school and go right into the workforce and work diligently for whatever they decide to do, go to the next thing, be getting college and then start a career out of that. I mean, there's so many paths you can take. And to reward someone for Bad behaviors, just
Yeah.
bad parenting. New York, bad parenting.
Prison. Yeah.
Jeez.
Prison's turning into Club Med.
And you know
in New
what?
York
Actually,
State.
I can come up with a positive and a negative out of one aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It'll create more jobs for teachers. One, possibly.
Could go. Yeah.
Two, who the hell are you going to get to go into a prison system to teach cons?
Yeah. It's
Depending
not
on the
everyone
level.
could do that. Yeah. Not everyone. That's a very difficult workplace to be in. Very difficult. You know.
Yeah.
Has a lot of different stressors than just your average classroom.
Because I know right now, I'm pretty positive, depending on your age, you can still work on getting your GED. Well, if you didn't pass if you didn't get your, I mean, and they're struggling with that as it is.
Yeah.
And now you want to throw college in there?
Yeah. I think actually, what's it called? Hazardous pay or whatever. People who work in prisons get that. It's like extra
A stipend, yeah.
stipend or amount they get because it is so dangerous. You know, there's that extra risk associated with it.
It frustrates me to no end to think that this is what we're coming to. Like, let's reward foul behavior and then punish those who are, making something of themselves.
Yeah. Well, there's a word for what we're talking about. It's called socialism.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get into that right now.
That is a fair point, man.
I'm not going to even touch that right now. But
That's a fair point. That's, and I'm trying to think about what else, like, what is going through lawmakers' minds right now in terms of wanting to educate, criminals for not for free, on our dollar.
Yeah.
Like, what part of this initiative did they think that we were going to jump aboard on? Like, they really didn't see us giving any opposition to this?
Well, a lot of it, it's great to have social programs, but somebody's got to pay for it.
What about social programs that benefit, hey, how about us?
Yeah.
The ones that,
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying.
not someone who did something and now has to pay a consequence for that said thing.
Yeah.
Or what about the people who are going to go to college in jail that aren't going to come out? So we're going to pay for them to get an education.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking
life.
about that a little bit too.
All right, I'm on life. Yeah, I'm not going to be readmitted to society, but I want a college education.
Yeah, let them pay for it.
Let them pay for it. If they
Yeah.
want it, let them pay for it, not taxpayers.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart. Like, you see people struggling every day.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be someone who's making minimum wage trying to get by, they're still going about it the right way.
Well, the working class is shrinking. Middle class is shrinking. People, like the poor, are getting poorer.
It's going
the middle class
down
is getting
here,
poorer. Yeah.
and then this is going up.
Yeah, the income gap is
a lot heavier.
pretty large, and it's getting wider. But yeah, you think we've beat this horse?
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah. We'd like to hear what other people have to say, though.
Yes.
I think it's an interesting discussion to have.
It is.
And if people have opposing views to us, I would like to hear it and what your
I heard
reasons
it.
are. Yeah.
I got angry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because we experience it firsthand. We have to pay back our student loans. We're paying back our student loans right now. We're gonna have to pay them back for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a house payment. I gotta put this is down payment on a house.
Exactly. The amount my student loans are, I could have bought a house, and a nice one.
A very nice one for you.
So you know what? Not everything is handed to us in life, and that's just the way it is.
Exactly.
Life is not fair.
And I feel like that's more of a lesson to teach that they're teaching us right now, that life isn't fair.
Well, and what this also
instead of to inmates.
It just, it's like this, what gets me is like this sense of entitlement where, oh yeah, I should get this for free. and this goes beyond even what we're talking about, like, but even our generation, our society,
You should just give this to me.
Disgusts me how entitled people, it makes my blood boil, how entitled people are in America, and especially our generation, I have to say.
I think we are the entitled generation. Well, maybe not so much. I would say the up-and-comers are definitely...
Yeah, even worse so.
Even worse off than us.
You know, and it's just like, yeah, it's great to have, nice things or have these different things, but you gotta work for it. You can't just expect things to be handed to you. I don't know. It makes me angry.
I was brought up to work hard.
Yeah.
And to work for what I get.
Yeah. You know what my mom always used to say to me, and it used to make me so mad, but in hindsight, looking back,
it benefited you the more.
It's like the best lesson she could have ever imparted in me. I would, like, for example, I'd be like, oh, I want that, like, whatever it may be.
How's it feel? Wow.
Yeah. My mom would always say, well, Amanda, if you want that, get a good education, get a good job, and then you can, pay for it. You can get it. You have the ability. What she was doing was instilling in me the ability and the self-confidence to be like, you don't need, you have to work for it. Hard work is, working hard is good. People aren't just going to hand you things. So if you want something, that's awesome. Go after it and work hard for it. And I have to set, and that has shaped me. That has shaped who I am. Mm-hmm. And like my work ethic and everything. But it used to piss me off to know what when she would tell me that.
Not the same way, but to the similar extent. My dad did the same thing. He wouldn't say it just like that, but
yeah.
That's why I started getting a job when I was 13, 14, because I didn't want the hand-me-downs. I didn't want, certain things. I wanted, like, I want to be that cool kid. I want a certain brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to buy me. And it was the more expensive one. Okay, that's what you want. Make it happen for yourself.
Yeah.
All right. I went out and got a job. I mean, let me tell you what. Like, from 14 to the time I graduated high school, I was, I worked. I babysat. Mm-hmm. That's when I first started. Mm-hmm. Then I was a busser. And I bussed in one job, okay? Let me tell you, dedication. 10 years I was at that job.
Oh, my God.
From the age
of a long time.
13, 14, between that years old, all the way up until a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
When I finally got my position after I graduated from college.
Yeah.
So, 10 years. Like, come on. And then, still with that, I was a janitor in our high school for a summer.
Yeah.
I was a camp counselor for a few summers. Mm-hmm. What else did I do?
Yeah, I started working. I had my first job the summer I was 15.
Where did you start working?
I started working at the school. It was in their, like, summer rec thing program.
I did that too.
Yeah. And so, what did I don't think I did anything the year after that. I couldn't work. I had mono the year before college, so I didn't do anything. But, and I always worked. I worked throughout all of college. I worked part-time.
I had a full-time job.
Oh, I didn't have full-time. I had a part-time job. And, I worked every summer. I've been, working.
Ever since. It really, truly teaches you the value of a dollar.
Yes.
When it is your dollar.
Yep.
From a young age.
Yeah.
And even before that, we had chores, right? You did your chores, you got like $5 allowance.
Yeah, your allowance.
And you're like, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah,
ballin'.
Yeah.
$5. I got my $5. You got your $5. Let's go party.
Yeah.
At 10 years old. Come on, you know what I mean?
I do.
But, I mean, where has that gone to where now you feel like you're entitled to something? Oh, I want this because I want it.
And it's such a fine line, I think, too, between parents wanting to give kids what they didn't have necessarily, but then also teaching them what we've been talking about, the value of a dollar, not being super entitled and bratty. I know a family I'm not going to name names or even how I know them, but where the kids in the family, they're grown up now, but, or some, close to our age, where they were basically kind of just given whatever they want. All
the time.
Yeah, and it just has... I gotta say, they're not the most protective members of society.
Because they expect it to be handed to them.
It just creates, this sense of entitlement that is just, like, ridiculous.
And then it makes you wonder I wonder why we've come to the point where we're going to pay for education.
I fear for our society, not gonna lie. I fear for the future of, a little bit of, what... sort of entitlement people feel about things.
But how do you go about reversing it?
Well, I think it has to start within, like, maybe even, like, own self-examination, and when you have kids or something, how you raise them. Like, I like to think that it's easy for me to say I'm not a parent yet, but I don't want to give my kids something just because I love them. I want, want them to, like, earn it and, get good grades and, work a part-time job or, do whatever it is, they need to do. I'm not just going to hand it to them.
I'm going to do the same thing to my kids what my parents did to me because I think it worked out well for me.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, everybody's going to respond to that kind of that raising differently. But I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to give you what you need.
Yeah.
Anything that you want. I mean, to the point, like, a 7-year-old be like, go get a job.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to do that.
You got to earn your right. You got to earn your keep in this house.
But, when they are that young, you're going to have chores. You're going to be responsible for picking up your room. I'm not your maid. I'm not your, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm mom, but I'm going to be mom. But
yeah, and it's good to instill in them, that sense of
discipline.
Discipline and responsibility.
I think that's one of the biggest things that we're lacking now is discipline.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I heard of an instance where in schools, kids will walk up, call them a B word. Mm-hmm. I would never think of doing that when I was in high school. I would be petrified.
Exactly. I had the fear of my parents. Yeah.
My dad would have slapped me silly. Mm-hmm. My mom, I wouldn't have gone home.
Yeah.
I would have found a new place to live.
Right.
So I'm going to start hitchhiking now. You don't disrespect your elders.
Yeah, no.
And you don't disrespect anybody who is trying to make you a better person.
Yeah.
You don't do it. It's just not acceptable. And it's become socially acceptable for kids just to mouth off because they do it to their parents.
Yeah.
Oh, can I tell you what?
I have seen before, this was years ago. I think I was still in high school, but there was this, we were in the car, and there was another car right behind us. Mm-hmm. I was with one of my friends and her grandma, actually. And the person was being, like, a really, like, kind of a jackass. They were being a really aggressive driver.
Yeah.
And they passed us, and they had this little kid who was in the front seat, first of all, which is not okay.
Who shouldn't be in the front seat.
Should be in the back, if they're under a certain weight. Gives us the bird. And the mom's just like, ha, ha, ha. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I'm like, oh.
What are you teaching your child? Okay. That's another thing that I don't think that some people don't realize until it's too late is, it's funny now when they're that young, but then imagine that when they're a tteenager and see what happens to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to be so funny then when you're going to bail them out of jail.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, they just made a mistake. What about...
Is he breathing into that?
No, she's good. Like, what about that? Parents who clean up their kids' owies when they're teenagers.
I have a word for that. I didn't make it up. I heard it before, but it's a good one. It's called being a helicopter mom or dad, a helicopter parent. And it's when your kid makes a mistake, and instead of, like, letting the natural consequences be like, oh, you shouldn't do that, they swoop in and clean up the mess for them.
Nope.
And it creates terrible adults. Mm-hmm. Terrible adults who think... I have heard of instances, not, like, firsthand, but, like, reading about it, where professors have had their students' parents call them about a grade being like demanding, why did you give them this, or you need to raise it. Well, maybe if your kid did the reading, they would have done better on the test, or whatever.
No, you're completely right.
Like, what?
It kind of goes along the lines with sports. You have, like, I experienced this quite a bit. I coach. You have kids who want to play, and they show up, do the work.
Yeah.
They play.
Yeah.
Then you have other kids who want to play, don't come to practice.
Yeah.
And then,
They
why
don't put in the
didn't I
time.
play?
Yeah.
Why would I play? Well, you got to come to practice, and I'll be happy to play you.
Yeah.
You put in the work like everybody else. I cannot reward you
Yeah.
and put you in when so-and-so was here the whole time. And
Yeah.
And then I get a phone call. Susie Q needs to play.
Yeah.
That's my kid.
Well, that's great. It's your kid, but they didn't come to practice.
And that's what I say.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, like, the kids don't have any kind of... They don't hold... What's the word I'm looking for? They don't...
I'm not sure.
Crap. I had it. I had it. They're not responsible for their actions. They're not held responsible for their actions.
They're not held accountable.
That's the word I was
Yeah.
like, accountable. That's the word I was looking for. They're not held accountable. When I was in high school, I was a little athlete. A little bit. But at one time, I was playing indoor soccer, travel basketball, and regular basketball. Now, before I started each one, my mom says, if I'm going to pay for this,
Yeah.
you're going to be at every practice.
Yeah.
You're going to show up.
Yeah.
And you're going to do everything that you're supposed to do. You're never going to miss one thing. You're not going to tell me, oh, I'm too tired tonight. You're not that I don't want to go. You're going to be
And
there.
you had to get all your homework done and, keep up with school.
And you
all
have to
that stuff,
earn
for
it.
Sure. Yeah.
And I did. And then, there'll come a time, there was come a time that I would sit the bench and, kids nowadays, I didn't play, coach sucks so much.
Yeah.
And the parent will be like, oh, let me go talk to him.
Yeah.
No, not in my household.
Yeah.
If I did something and I was on the bench for whatever reason, I'd go home and I'd be talking about it and be like, upset that I was on the bench. My dad, well, what'd you do wrong? What did you do? Obviously, you need to go talk to your coach. What do you got to do better?
Yeah.
Fix it. Make it better. There was no crutches there.
Yeah. There was no coddling.
Yeah,
Like,
I was not coddled. I was
Yeah.
like, here's a boot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go.
Precisely.
Figure it out for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
they're there. Like, my parents were amazing.
Yeah.
They were there for me when I needed them.
Mm-hmm.
And, if it came, like, if I needed my family, they were there. But for life lessons like this, they didn't take it easy. They didn't make it easy for me. I had to earn my way. I had
Yeah.
to work for my way here. Don't tell me I'm sleeping with my boss to get where I am.
Yeah.
Remember that little gem from last year.
Yeah.
For Pete's sake. But you know what I'm saying? There's no accountability instilled as much. And I
Yeah.
feel like we can get back to that. There's still great kids. Oh my gosh.
But and that's not to say we are kind of generalizing a little bit. There
Too
are
much.
some
We're generalizing too much.
amazing, talented,
Kids out there.
respectful, accountable kids who are
Yep.
working hard and are going to go places.
I mean, I was thrilled. The last 2 years I coached varsity soccer, and they are just... Those girls are just incredible young
Yeah.
women, and they're going to do very well for themselves. Actually, they're going on to sectional finals this Friday. A lot of, they all played for me for soccer, and I mean, they work for it.
Yeah.
Those girls are incredible, and they keep up on their schoolwork. They keep up on their homework. They keep
Actually,
on
student
everything.
athletes usually do tend to be good students because, there's like science behind it too, but you have to be disciplined.
Yep. Time management is
Yeah.
important. And I don't think it's just student athletes anymore. I think it's anyone who's more involved.
Yeah, like extracurriculars.
Extracurriculars.
Like theater.
Exactly.
Theater kids. Oh my god, that takes up so much time, and you have to be.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, you have to be responsible, for that. And
It doesn't just happen. And I
Yeah.
feel like you should be involved, whether it be, they don't have like those little clubs anymore, like chess club, as much anymore. I know they don't. They never
Yeah.
had it when I was in Romulus, but I mean, maybe they should, like, if there's interest, like, create something, like, get involved with something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think it all comes from there. It all goes from there.
Yeah. So, but there is an upswing and people are in, I don't know. Yeah. Parents, you know, trying to make their kids' lives as easy as possible. Life is not easy.
And,
It's
you know,
just not.
you're crippling them for later on, too.
You know, that's very true. That is so true.
You're coddling them now, like, oh,
You're
it's
really
okay.
doing them a disservice.
And then later on, they're not going to be able to handle, you know, being turned down from a job or
relationships. The people who are raised like the way we're talking are terrible people to date.
We've dated them. This is why we know.
We've done the legwork. We know. They're terrible people to date and have relationships with and, you know, build a family with. Like, just, no.
We know.
No, yeah.
I mean, it is a good point. It cripples them for later on, and not just one way, multiple ways, like relationships or jobs or education.
Or even just being happy with life.
Yeah.
You know? How miserable is someone going to be if they think, you know, if they don't ever really get that satisfaction from earning something, or, you know, always
pride and ownership.
Yeah, always wanting the next thing because they didn't earn what they were given, so you're not as satisfied by it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I would have to agree.
We have to give a quick shout out to one of our faithful and loyal followers, Craig Huff.
Yeah.
We just wanted to say hi.
And the guys at Gould.
Yep. And all, you know, your buddies over there for watching us. We appreciate it.
We love it.
Yeah.
Thank
you. So I wanted to give a little shout out before we ended the show.
If you have any comments, whether you agree with us, disagree with us, let us know. Facebook, Lake to Lake Girls. We want to hear what you have to say, and we can even bring up your comments next week in the show as well before Amanda goes on her awesome, amazing trip. I'm so excited for you.
That I paid for, by the way.
The state is not paying for her way.
I paid for this trip. Yeah.
But yeah, comments, anything, whether it be positive, negative, whatever you got to say, we're here to hear it. Lake to Lake Girls on Facebook.
You can't hurt our feelings.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, we welcome it all. And we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. After that, I do believe we're taking a week off for.
Yeah.
I mean, Amanda's going to be in Paris unless.
Yeah, I'm not going to Skype in her.
Unless she wants to Skype in. All right, you guys, that's our show. Catch you next week, 6 to 7.